Hello my fellow crafters, welcome back to Inspiration for Cards. Today I'm going to be playing with something new to me, that is, because it's a brand that I've seen some other creators use and I just loved it. I loved it. So what I'm speaking about is this brand, Lavinia, and I love it. So I've got a couple of stamps that I'm going to be using from them. I've already made one card just to test it out because I had to. I've got some ideas in my head. I'm not sure what I'm going to be using, if I'm going to use everything I have here. I'm going to use the Lavinia stamps and the rest we will see. I've also cut out a base layer using the Master Layouts 8, which is slightly bigger. So I've got my, I've got my card front and my matte layer cut out with the Master Layouts 8. So first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a background, and I want to create a background using my jelly plate, which is something that I love and I don't use enough. But yeah, we will use it now together. I'm not completely sure how this is going to work, but we will figure it out together. I want to use inks on here, so I'm going to start with a gray layer, and the gray layer is going to be pumice stone. I'm going to be brayering that on. I'm just picking up some ink and putting that on the gel press. So I've just got a scrap piece of paper here that I will use to roll off my brayer. Next, I'm taking out Fossilized Amber. I'm just going to put some on my mat. I'm going to take my splatter brush. Use that to splatter it on here. And yes, you get messy hands, but that's all part of the fun, isn't it? Next, I'm going to take a slightly brighter yellow mustard seed. I'm going to do the same. Then I'm going to take my paper and dab it on there. Just let it sit on there for a second so it can absorb the ink. And then we're going to see what the result is. This is just going to be a base layer. Wow. Yeah. That's good. So I'm going to tone that down a bit with another layer of pumice stone. Spritz a bit. And put that down. Yes, that's what I like. The brightest is on top, and I'm just gonna quickly dry this, make sure this is completely dry. Now you can always air dry this, of course, without any problems, but then this would be a very long video. Then I would have to talk to you all the time. Now that's not an issue for me talking, as you probably know, but yeah, I think it would be wiser just to dry it. There we go. That's the base, but we're going to do a lot more to this. Let me think. First things first, what I want to do is I want to take this big. Oh, here it's a small one. I was looking for the small ones, but they're on the back. So I've got these masks, moon masks from Ideology. Stampers Anonymous, actually, not Ideology. These packaging all look alike. And I'm going to use that moon mask on here. And I'm using the repositionable easy dots on here because I don't want this to move. Just put a tiny bit on the back so it'll stick down where I want it. I want this slightly to be offset because I'm gonna put him on here. I don't know what the name is. Ash. He's called Ash. That's his face. So he will come here. The moon will be up here. Yeah. Just let me press that down. Next, I'm gonna take a stenciling brush. And I'm going to use Twilight, which is a pigment ink. I'm just going to put that on there and just lightly flick that off that moon. And while this is on there, I will also just already start to darken up here. Okay. Look at how bright that moon is. I'm going to take off that adhesive and clean this off in a second. So there's still a bit of adhesive here, but with the glue eraser, that's not an issue. Now this moon already has quite a lot of dimension, but I still want to put some more on there. So I'm just going to take the second part of the moon stencil and I'm going to position that right in the middle. There we go. And then I'm going to take another brush and I'm going to see what pumice stone does. Just want to see what this does. Bugger, wrong color. Wrong color. Oh well. It's on there now, so I better use it. Stupid. But that happens. So we'll see if it's a happy accident or not. Actually, I think it's fine. I think it's fine. So I'm just gonna remove the stickiness. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this stencil. This is a stencil from my favorite things. And I'm gonna put this on here. Then the other way around. And I'm going to use Frayed Burlap. There we go. And then I want without loading the brush again, I'm just going to put down a second hill because I can. I like that. It gives the illusion that the hill is behind there as well. So I'll clean that up later on. Then I'm just softly going to soften the edge because I don't want this hard edge to be on there. And this way we're slowly but surely darkening up the page. So using the same ink again, the Twilight ink, I'm just gonna tap off the excess, I'm going to darken up above here. Making sure I'm not hitting that moon. So next is, I'm going to see what this does, the morning mist. Just lightly gonna put that on here. So what I'm doing next is I'm going to take this Tim Holtz, what's it called, ledger script. I'm just going to give the background some structure. Now you can't read this, but it's almost like magic is written in the sky. I love this mystical feel. That's enough. I'm not going to do any more. Okay, so next I'm taking my Misty and I'm going to stamp on here. Put that on my sticky grid that I standard have in my Misty. And let me get my stamps. Okay, so I'm taking my tree stamp. Beautiful, beautiful. And I'm going to position that on here, on top of the hill. And that's going to overlap the moon. Just let me double check whether this works out with the doggy. Now I'm going to stamp this out in VersaFine Clair Fallen Leaves. I don't want to use black for now. I'm going to use black on the doggy, but for this one, I just wanted to try it. We're experimenting, we're playing. And one thing that I have learned, especially with making backgrounds, don't give up. It might look like a hot mess, but it's not. You can always fix it. Because at one stage with this one, I was like, this is not going to work. I wanted to stop the video and start over. But if I look at it now, I really like it. So I'm going to give that another stamp. I actually think I want to go to black. So, if you don't try it, because it's nice, but since I'm going to darken up the page even more, the edges especially, I'm afraid you will not see the tree anymore. So, I've got my VersaFine, I trusted VersaFine Black Onyx, and I'm going to ink up this tree again in black. Yes, that's better. You see what I mean? It's a lot brighter on there. So I'm going to give it one more coat, and then it's fine. I put my stamp to the side. It's nice and clean, and I'm going to take my doggy. I think it's a dog. It's a fox officially, but for me, I think remember, I made these two hills. I want him sitting on the lower one. So pick him up and ink him up. Of course, in black. And do it again. But you see how this is coming together, and these stamps, I love them. I love the mystical feel. Yeah, this makes me smile. And that's what crafting is about, right? It has to make you happy. Now it should be perfect. There we go. Perfect. Look at him. Look at him. And I'm just gonna heat set this so I don't smudge it, because pigment ink takes a while. So for some reason my audio decided to stop recording, so I'm doing a voiceover now. What I'm doing here is I'm actually using walnut stain to darken up the edges, because I really want the focus to be on that moon. The moon is the lightest point in the card, and by darkening up the edges you pull in the light towards that moon. So you really have to focus on the center of the card. That's what we want. Now using a black pencil, I'm making a shadow under Ash, under the fox, or the dog as I like to say, and under that beautiful tree. Just grounding it a bit more on that hill. Now using a yellow pencil, I'm gonna highlight Ash. Yeah, the moon is shining on him, so I'm really just putting that on the edge of him, just giving him a highlight that his fur is lighting up. And I'm also doing the same on the moon, just giving that moon a little bit of a brighter edge, so to say. And the pencil goes really well over the ink, so that really works. I'm also doing the same with the tree, because the tree is also being lit by that same moon. So all over the tree, the points where the light touches the tree, I'm giving that a highlight. Now using a green pencil, I'm giving that tree also some highlights on the tree stem, because yeah, that actually makes it look like it's magical. It's like glowing from the inside, that tree, and that gives it a really nice glow, so to speak. At least that's what I think. So now I'm using some of the foliage that came with that tree and just have these hanging bits coming from the different branches, trying to make the composition yeah, even nicer than it already was. Because you could have left it with just a tree, but I really like this foliage hanging down that tree, giving it even more of a mystical feel. And that's what I like about these stamps, the Lavinia stamps, so much. It's that mystical feel, magic in the air. I really, really like that. By the time I'm recording this voiceover and I'm editing this video, I've ordered even more stamps. So you will see more Lavinia videos coming to the channel in the future, because I really, really like it. Now, I'm also giving these foliage hanging thingies, the thingamabobblies that come from the tree, I'm giving that a yellow highlight, because, again, the moon is shining on that as well. And it makes it pop off the card even a bit more. Now, using a white gel pen, I'm gonna give Ash even more of a highlight. So I'm putting that on, just scribbling on with the white gel pen and then smushing it out with my finger a bit. And I'm doing that to Ash, and I'm also gonna do that on the tree, etc. Just giving it even more of a highlight. And that you will see that Ash will pop off that card even more than at first. I'm also giving the tree a highlight, all the areas where the moon was shining. Now using black soot in the oxide, I'm even darkening up the edges even more, because I really want the dark edges. And yeah, it all blends in really, really nicely, giving it nice shadow, nice depth on that card. And I think that goes really well with this mystical feel that I want on this card. And of course, some splattering needs to happen. It's oxide inks that I've used a lot, so that will give it a nice effect. And you will see here, I'm taking off the excess, and there you go. It looks like a starry night all of a sudden. So darkening up the edges again a bit, getting rid of some of that dots that I've created there. And then we are heading towards the final result of the card. I really like this. I really, really like this. But before we finish, I'm taking my POSCA pen and I'm drawing some stars in the sky. Just some simple stars, nothing fancy. I'm not a good drawer by hand, but yeah, it just gives it the illusion of a starry night. And these POSCA pens are perfect for that. Lighting up the sky. And that's it. Here I'm saying, walk away from the card. Enough is enough. Now, I'm using the Elizabeth Craft Designs double-sided adhesive on the back of this front panel because I really want this to be adhered well. I've used some water on it. I've used a lot of ink, so the panel is warped a bit, but by using this tape, I will make sure it stays nice and flat on that black card layer, the matte layer that I'm using. And I've used Gina K Master Layouts 8 to cut these two panels out. Now I'm using some foam tape from 3M on the back of the black panel to put it onto my card base, giving it some dimension. But these cards are stunning as is, that they don't need a lot of dimension because, yeah, look at that. It's really pretty. So here we have the final result of this card. I really fell in love with the Lavinia cards. Look at the depth in this card. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and consider to subscribe to my channel. That would really help me. Thank you for watching this one, and I'll see you for the next one. Bye!